We're really lucky as a business because our inherent purpose is actually linked to the products we sell. So at E.ON, we're absolutely about trying to lead the energy transition, which at the end of the day is about trying to get more sustainable products, fight the climate crisis into our customers' homes, into businesses, and work with cities on that basis. So from a marketing sense, our message is about helping people fight the climate crisis, but our role as a company in fighting the climate crisis is absolutely intertwined with where we make our money. But I think what you can see right across the economy is so many different firms desperately trying to find a purpose, find what they're about. And I think as marketeers, we can often overthink things. We can forget that actually, look, at the end of the day, marketing is just about trying to make your thing interesting to get someone interested in it. So I think so much over the last few years, we've almost lost sight of the consumer in so many marketing discussions. Consumers will help you find the purpose. So, if you're an energy company that's selling sustainability products, your purpose is that sustainability. That's easy. But if you're working in a different sector, like a pub or a cafe, you exist, of course, your purpose is to give something to the community, but look at it through your consumer's eyes. Look at what people get from coming here. Look at what people get from purchasing your product and being with your business. So I think purpose needs to come from consumers. And the honest answer is, as marketeers, a lot of us have lost sight of that. So we've got to get back to that consumer first thinking. So often, I think working in a business of any size, but particularly for those of us, on the brand side and big businesses, that constant quest to try and reinvent things can sometimes obscure from what's really working well. And that, I think, from my experience, you can see sometimes in lots of businesses looking in from the outside, you can see where perhaps the consumer's got a bit lost in what's the new thing, what's the shiny thing. At the end of the day, your products don't tend to change too much. You might have a new variety, a new style, a new proposition each year, but the core reason for being, the core aspect that you're trying to deliver for your consumers, that doesn't change. And it takes a lot of courage as a marketeer, whether that's in-house or agency, to almost stick to that plan, to say the course we're on is right, the work we're doing is great. And that's not to say that you churn out the same stuff over and over again, but at the end of the day, that consistency of message, that consistency of thought is super important for all of us in our own lives. Think about the brands we pick up and buy in our private lives, as it were. Then when you come to work, have that courage to try and stay the course. When we look across and we all cite the same brands as doing a great job at building over time, there's one thing that's consistent. It tends to be that core thought, that core purpose, that consumer-led belief doesn't change 100%. It'll adapt, it'll evolve, of course. But so many of us, I think, fall into the trap of looking for the shiny, looking for the new. That takes a lot of courage. And that's the bit that I think, certainly if I think about myself and my team, that's the bit we're trying to really focus on now is what's the business we need today and how do we need to support E.ON today? But also what's the business we want to be in 3 and 5 years' time? Use marketing as a long-term tool to build that, as well as a short-term fix to hit those commercial goals. It's hard, it takes a lot of courage, it comes for a lot of challenge, of course, when lots of pressure is on lots of people in the business. But I think that's perhaps the one thing most of us as marketeers can give. What's the constant thought? What's the way that consumers view you? And stick with that and really double down, and success will come through that path. Focused on at E.ON at the moment is, undoubtedly making sure we can help our customers through what is at really unprecedented times. It's unprecedented not just because of the inflationary pressures we're seeing, so the cost of living crisis, but it's unprecedented in terms of the shocks that have gone through the energy system, from the horrific scenes we've seen from Putin's invasion of Ukraine to the huge shift that's going on and has happened over the last decade, will continue to happen over the next decade as we all transition to net zero. Now, the way we produce energy, the way that we consume energy in our homes and in our businesses absolutely needs to change. And the shift we've got as a marketing team is to really get people to appreciate not just that that's positive in terms of the climate, but that's going to be positive about how we live our lives. And indeed, thinking about cost of living at the moment, that can be positive about pounds in your pocket as well. If you think about solar panels on a day like today that's lovely and bright, and again, you don't need sunshine, you just need, brightness, as it were, for the solar panels to generate. Rather than paying for your electricity, you could be generating, carbon-free electricity of your own home without then paying out. A better insulated home means you're heating only the inside of that house, not the air around your house. So these changes that quite often you'll see in certain newspapers categorized as green stuff or extra cost, actually that investment up front, whether it's by the homeowner or by the government, can make a huge difference to living standards. And then the other benefit we've all got, as well as the longer term but critical aspect around reducing global temperatures, air quality is a huge byproduct of the way we've lived our lives. So anyone in any urban environment in the UK, will be in an area where certainly, at least at a few times, air quality is questionable. And actually, by changing to electric cars, by changing how we generate electricity to using only renewable sources, which is the only electricity we sell at E.ON, 100% renewable, that change then has an impact on the air quality, i.e. making it better. And that's something that all of us should be interested in. So if your motivation's global picture and climate, sustainability is the answer. If your motivation is saving a few quid or making your business make a bit more money, sustainable products are the answer. And indeed for health benefits, making sure you're in a warm, cozy, insulated home, or indeed, from traffic for air pollution is the right thing. So we're in a position whereby by putting the right products powered by renewable electricity into the hands of the people we work with in terms of consumers and businesses, that's a huge change. But our shift as a brand team is to make sure that people appreciate it's a positive, it's an investment, it's not just a cost.